The ghost ship returns. The galactic monitoring station Epsilon 7 floated in the vast emptiness between spiral arms, a sentinel watching over trade routes that connected 1,000 civilizations. Commander Vexara had served here for 40 cycles, and in all that time nothing truly extraordinary had ever happened. The station's purpose was to track ships' log passages and ensure the smooth flow of interstellar commerce. It was important work, but mind-numbingly routine. That changed when the sensors detected something that shouldn't exist. The anomaly appeared first as a gravitational distortion, a ripple in space-time that made every alarm on the station scream in protest. Vexara's 6 tentacles moved in perfect synchronization across the control panels, trying to make sense of what the instruments were telling her. The readings were impossible. Something massive was tearing through the fabric of reality itself, emerging from a region of space that all modern science said was completely empty. When the object finally materialized, Vexara felt her heart stop beating for a full second. It was a ship, but unlike anything in the galactic registry, the vessel stretched nearly 3 kilometers from bow to stern, its hull black as the void itself, scarred by impacts and energy burns that looked older than some civilizations. Strange geometric patterns covered its surface, angular and aggressive in a way that modern ship design had abandoned millennia ago. Most disturbing of all were the weapons. Even powered down and dormant, Vexara could see gun emplacements that made her station's defensive systems look like toys. Her second in command, a crystalline being named Shard, materialized beside her in a shower of light particles. The electromagnetic signatures are unlike anything in our database. The metal composition includes elements that haven't been used in shipbuilding for... Shard paused, running calculations again. Commander, according to these readings, this ship predates the Galactic Council itself. That was when the transmission came through. It was audio only, crackling with static and distortion, broadcast on frequencies so primitive that their equipment almost didn't recognize it as communication. The computer systems struggled for long seconds to find a translation matrix, diving deep into historical linguistic databases that hadn't been accessed in centuries. When the translation finally came through, every being on the station fell silent. This is the United Nations Starship Prometheus, Deep Space Exploration Division. We are requesting navigational assistance and current star charts. Our stellar positioning systems are showing significant deviation from expected coordinates. Please respond on any frequency. We have been in emergency stasis following an encounter with an uncharted phenomenon. Time elapsed since departure from Earth. Error. Chronometer malfunction detected. Requesting immediate assistance, Earth. The word sent a chill through every being present. Earth was a legend, a cautionary tale told to young species about the dangers of unchecked aggression. According to every historical record, Earth had destroyed itself in nuclear fire 20,000 years ago, leaving nothing but a radioactive tomb orbiting a dying star. The planet where the species called humans had once lived was supposedly the deadliest place in known space, a monument to self-destruction that no ship dared approach. Vexara made a command decision that would change the course of galactic history. She opened a communication channel, using the same primitive frequencies the ship had broadcast on. This is Commander Vexara of Galactic Monitoring Station Epsilon 7. Prometheus, we are receiving your transmission. Please maintain your current position. We are prepared to provide assistance. Can you confirm the number of life signs aboard your vessel? The response came after a delay that seemed to stretch forever. Commander Vexara, this is Captain James Morrison of the Prometheus. We have 312 souls aboard, all in various stages of revival from extended stasis. Our ship's chronometer shows we've been in emergency suspension for approximately 2 years, but our navigation systems indicate stellar drift, consistent with a much longer duration. Can you provide current galactic standard date? Vexara looked at Shard, who nodded solemnly. The truth had to be told, no matter how devastating. Captain Morrison, I need you to prepare yourself and your crew for difficult information. According to our calendar systems, converting to what we believe was Earth's time measurement, the current year would be approximately 22,000 CE by your reckoning. Your ship has been in temporal suspension not for 2 years, but for nearly 20,000. The silence that followed was deafening. When Morrison spoke again, his voice was steady but carried an undertone of barely controlled emotion. 20,000 years. That's not possible. Our stasis systems were rated for a maximum of 50 years. How are we even alive? The phenomenon you encountered appears to have created a temporal bubble around your vessel. You experience time at a drastically different rate than the rest of the universe. Captain Morrison, there is something else you need to know. Our historical records indicate that Earth was destroyed in a global nuclear conflict approximately 18,000 years ago. According to all known data, humanity is extinct. Another long pause. Then Morrison's voice came through, harder now, with an edge of determination that made Vexara's skin crawl. Commander, with all due respect to your historical records, I'm looking at my long-range sensors right now. I can detect Sol system from here, and Earth's biosignature is reading strong and active. Someone or something is living on my planet. My crew and I intend to go home, and we'd very much like to know who's been telling the galaxy that humanity is dead. The channel closed before Vexara could respond. On the screen, the ancient warship's engines began to glow with a light that shouldn't have been possible after 20 millennia. The Prometheus was moving, slowly but steadily, toward a destination that every star chart in the galaxy marked as a dead zone. Shard's crystalline form flickered with concern. Commander, should we alert the Galactic Council? A ship that old, with weapons that primitive but powerful, heading toward a supposedly dead world. This could destabilize everything. Vexara watched the ship disappearing into the darkness between stars. Her next words would haunt her for the rest of her life. No, we follow them. Prepare my personal vessel and gather a small crew of volunteers. Something tells me the Council has been lying about Earth for a very long time, and I want to know why. As her station prepared for a journey that none of them might survive, Vexara couldn't shake the feeling that she was about to witness something that would shatter 20,000 years of carefully constructed history. The humans were going home, and the galaxy would never be the same. Captain Morrison stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, watching the stars streak by as his ship pushed its ancient engines to their limits. Around him, his crew worked with grim determination, checking systems, running diagnostics, and trying to process the impossible truth of their situation. 20,000 years. Everyone they had ever known was dust. The world they had left behind was either dead or transformed beyond recognition. His first officer, Commander Lisa Park, approached with a data pad. The crew is handling it as well as can be expected. Most are focused on the mission, trying not to think about what we've lost. But James, there's something you need to see. I've been analyzing the star positions, cross-referencing with our original charts. It's not just that 20,000 years have passed. The stellar drift patterns don't match natural progression. Some of these stars have been moved. Morrison took the pad, studying the data. Moved? You mean artificially relocated? That's the only explanation that makes sense. Someone or something has been reshaping this section of the galaxy. And James, look at this. She pulled up another display. These are the trade routes that Commander Vexara's station was monitoring. Notice anything strange about them? Morrison studied the map, and then he saw it. Every major trade route curved away from Sol system, creating a perfect bubble of empty space around humanity's home. It wasn't natural. It was deliberate. They've quarantined us. Someone has been keeping the rest of the galaxy away from Earth, but why? And more importantly, who? Park asked. If Earth was really destroyed, why maintain such an elaborate deception? Why move stars to create isolation? It would take enormous resources and technology we can barely imagine. Morrison's jaw tightened. That's what we're going to find out. How long until we reach Sol system at current speed? 6 weeks, maybe 7. The engines are holding, but they're old, James. We're pushing them hard, then we push them harder. Whatever's waiting for us at Earth, whether it's our people or something else entirely, we're going home. And if someone has been lying about humanity's fate for 20,000 years, they're about to learn why you never count humans out. The hidden truth of humanity. The journey through changed space tested every system on the Prometheus. Star systems that should have been familiar were gone, replaced by vast industrial complexes that harvested entire suns for energy. Planets that Earth's telescopes had marked as barren now hosted sprawling civilizations. And everywhere they went, they encountered the same reaction: terror at the sight of their ship. Commander Vexara's vessel had caught up with them after 2 weeks, and she had reluctantly shared more information that made Morrison's blood boil. The Galactic Council had dozens of laws specifically forbidding travel to Sol system. Any ship that ventured too close was destroyed by automated defense platforms. The official reason was radiation danger from Earth's supposed nuclear destruction, but Vexara admitted she no longer believed that story. The truth began to reveal itself when they detected the first beacon. It was ancient, nearly as old as their ship, broadcasting a message in ancient Earth languages. It was a warning, but not the kind they expected. It spoke of quarantine, of protection, of keeping Earth hidden until the time was right. Most shocking of all, it was signed by the Galactic Council itself, dated just 50 years after the Prometheus had departed. They lied about when Earth fell, Park said, studying the beacon's data. This was placed here while Earth was still very much alive. The Council didn't record humanity's destruction. They engineered our isolation. Morrison gathered his senior staff in the conference room. Around the table sat the remnants of Earth's greatest deep space mission. Dr. Elena Vasquez, their chief scientist, Commander Park, Chief Engineer Marcus Thompson, and Dr. Yuki Tanaka, their medical officer. Each face showed the strain of the past weeks, but also a burning determination. "We're 3 weeks from Earth," Morrison began, "and every piece of evidence suggests that our planet is not dead, but has been deliberately hidden from the galaxy. The question is why, and what do we do when we get there?" Vasquez spoke first. "I've been analyzing the technology we've encountered. The Galactic Council's current tech level is actually below what Earth had achieved in certain areas before we left. Our weapon systems, primitive as they seem, operate on principles that their scientists apparently never discovered or actively suppressed. It's possible that humanity was seen as a threat, not because we were destructive, but because we were advancing too quickly." Thompson nodded. "That would explain the quarantine. They couldn't destroy us without cause, but they could isolate us, let us believe we were alone, prevent us from reaching the stars." "But something went wrong," Tanaka added. "The 12 exploration ships that left Earth, including us, were supposed to return and report finding nothing. Instead, we all disappeared into temporal anomalies. They probably assumed we were destroyed, that their plan had worked perfectly." Morrison stood and walked to the viewport, where stars that were both familiar and strange glittered in the darkness. "Then we return home and find out what humanity has become after 20,000 years of isolation, and if they're still there, if our people survived. We tell them the truth about the galaxy that tried to cage them. The first defense platforms appeared when they were still a week from Earth. Ancient automated systems, powered by technology the Galactic Council claimed not to understand, sent warnings in 100 languages. Turn back, quarantine zone, extreme danger, death awaits. The Prometheus ignored them all, its identification codes apparently still valid after 20 millennia. Then they saw it, Earth. Not the blue and green jewel they remembered, but something else entirely. The planet was shrouded in what looked like a silver mist, a cloud of something that sensors couldn't quite identify. As they drew closer, the mist revealed itself to be composed of billions of tiny machines, each no larger than a dust mote, working in perfect synchronization. "My God," Vasquez whispered. "It's a planetary shield made of nanotechnology. Earth has been turned into a fortress." Morrison was about to respond when every screen on the bridge lit up simultaneously. A face appeared, human but somehow more. The features were perfect, ageless, with eyes that held depths of knowledge that seemed impossible. When it spoke, the voice resonated not just through the speakers but somehow directly in their minds. "Welcome home, Prometheus. We have been waiting for you for a very long time. I am Prime Administrator Kepler, speaking for the United Earth Collective. Please do not be alarmed by what you see. Humanity has not died. We have evolved. And now that you have returned, it is time for the galaxy to learn what we have become." The image shifted, showing Earth as it truly was beneath the nanotechnology shroud. Cities that defied physics floated in the air. Orbital rings encircled the planet at multiple altitudes. The moon had been transformed into a massive space station, and everywhere there were humans but changed, enhanced, adapted in ways that seemed to blend biology and technology seamlessly. "Captain Morrison," Kepler continued, "for 20,000 years, we have hidden here, growing, learning, advancing. The Galactic Council feared us not for our weapons, but for our potential. They tried to cage us, to limit us, to make us forgotten. They failed. We have spent these millennia preparing, and now with your return we have the key we needed." "What key?" Morrison asked, though part of him already knew the answer. "Proof that we were betrayed. Your ship, with its journey documented, with its crew as witnesses, is evidence that humanity didn't destroy itself. The Council tried to erase us from history, but you are living proof of their deception. The quarantine was never to protect the galaxy from a dead world. It was to protect them from a humanity that had grown beyond their ability to control. The Prometheus was guided to a docking station that materialized from the nanotechnology cloud. As Morrison and his crew prepared to disembark, Vexara's voice came through on a private channel. "Captain, I need you to know that not all of us in the galaxy supported this deception. There are many species who questioned the Earth story, who suspected the truth. Your return might start something larger than you realize." Morrison smiled grimly. "Commander Vexara, I think that's exactly the point. Humanity has been in timeout for 20,000 years. It's time we rejoined the galactic community. And this time we're not asking for permission." As the airlock opened and Morrison stepped onto the station, he was greeted by hundreds of his evolved descendants. They looked human enough, but there was something in their eyes, a depth of patience and power that spoke of millennia of preparation. Kepler approached, extending a hand that Morrison shook, feeling the strange blend of flesh and technology. "Your return completes a circle 20,000 years in the making," Kepler said. "The galaxy thought they could forget about Earth, make us into a cautionary tale, a myth to frighten young species. They were wrong. Humanity didn't die when they isolated us. We grew stronger. We became something they never imagined possible. And now, with the Prometheus as our herald, we're ready to show the universe what happens when you try to cage human potential." In the days that followed, as the crew of the Prometheus learned about the wonders and horrors of humanity's isolated evolution, signals began to spread across the galaxy. The ancient warship had returned. Earth was alive. Humanity had survived. And the 20,000-year lie was finally crumbling. The Galactic Council called emergency sessions. Some species prepared for war. Others sent messages of support and apology. But on Earth, humanity simply prepared. They had waited 20 millennia for this moment, patient as stone, inevitable as time itself. Morrison stood on the observation deck of the orbital ring, looking down at the planet that had refused to die, that had transformed isolation into strength. His crew stood with him, along with Kepler and the other administrators of the new Earth. "What happens now?" Park asked. "Now," Kepler replied, "humanity returns to the stars, not as conquerors or destroyers, but as what we were always meant to be. Explorers, builders, dreamers who refuse to accept limitations. The galaxy tried to forget about Earth. They're about to learn that was their greatest mistake." As if in response to his words, thousands of ships began to rise from Earth's surface. Not warships, though they were certainly capable of defending themselves, but vessels of exploration, trade, and diplomacy. Each one incorporated 20,000 years of advancement, carrying humans who had evolved beyond their ancestors' wildest dreams. The Prometheus would lead them, the ancient warship that had broken through time itself, to bring humanity home and then back to the stars. Its scarred hull and primitive weapons were a reminder of what humans had been. While the fleet rising behind it showed what they had become, the galaxy had forgotten about Earth. But Earth had never forgotten about the galaxy. And now, after 20,000 years of preparation, humanity was ready to remind the universe why they had been feared in the first place. Not because they were destroyers, but because they were survivors who turned every challenge into an opportunity, every cage into a catalyst for growth. The age of humanity's isolation was over. The age of humanity's return had begun,